Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I want to tell you about one of my favourite Halloween movies, Trick or Treat from 2007. Directed by Michael Dougherty, this movie is so special. It captures something about Halloween that I adore. It's got that thick atmosphere that's dripping with potential for adventure and misadventure, for fun and for frights. It's not a horror movie in so much as it doesn't have any jump scares, but it is a scary film. It's the sort of film that even Mrs. Soup, for example, enjoys. She doesn't really like the Saw movies or something like that, but Trick or Treat is something that we watch every year ever since we first discovered the film about 4 or 5 years ago. It is a very lovingly made film, and understandably, Michael Dougherty is from Columbus, Ohio, in the Midwest, where they take Halloween very seriously and where they get that full Halloween experience. It's a very similar climate to what it is here in the UK, and they see the leaves transition through that orange glow. They have the air cooling and becoming crisp, and they have that closing in of atmosphere that for me is crucial for Halloween. It's interesting that I was inspired to make this video this week because my friend remembered how much I loved this film, a friend I used to work with, and sent me this fella. His name is Sam, and he is the main character in Trick or Treat. And this character is actually meant to be a mascot for the holiday, in so much as the director realised that, for example, Christmas has Father Christmas, Easter has the Easter Bunny, but there's no real mascot per se for Halloween. I suppose jack-o'-lanterns come close in terms of being iconic of Halloween, and I guess you could extend that to maybe the Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman with the pumpkin motif, but that's not really the same as a mascot for the holiday. And so he designed this little fella and produced a little animation for him where he's going around trick-or-treating on a really scary Halloween night, and we think that he's come a cropper, that he's come to some harm, and then we realise that actually he is in fact to be feared in some way. And that sort of twist is something that rapidly made Michael Dougherty stand out to me as a director, in so much as he also directed 2015's Krampus film, another film that's dripping with atmosphere, that has a very strong artistic sensibility. In fact, the director is an artist. He does sketches and his own drawings, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But it's this sort of finding of that delicious twist in different times of the year that I appreciate in his work. And so I was so pleased when this arrived in the post. I wasn't expecting it, and my wonderful friend just knew that I would love him, and I do. In fact, I do. Now, I don't want to spoil the film for you. I do want to encourage you to go and watch it because I love it, and hopefully you will too. But it's a very clever film in so much as it intertwines 4 stories that happen on one Halloween night. We see them sort of overlapping at different points in the movie. Some of them have a backstory, others have a very sort of spontaneous feel to them, and the whole film starts out with a couple coming home having been out trick-or-treating or having been to a Halloween party where he loves Halloween. He's like, woohoo, yes, it's great, I just love this time of year, let's watch a movie, let's stay up all night. And she's like, come on, let's grow up now, it's time to take down the Halloween decorations, I hate Halloween. And at that point we see Sam, or at least we see a little boy go in Sam's costume, because Sam, it's unclear throughout the story as to exactly what he is until sort of the end of the story. But it's not really spoiling anything to say that Sam represents the spirit of Halloween, and he doesn't take too kindly to seeing someone say, I hate Halloween. And so some light horror ensues. Sam just wants to see people enjoying Halloween, really getting into the spirit of the holiday. But he's also a supernatural force for justice. He can be quite violent if you don't like Halloween, as we've established, but he also seems to really hate it when people bully the weak, for example, or when a nasty man drives a school bus full of children off a cliff. He makes sure that those people get their comeuppance. And in that sense, this film really draws out threads of, for example, urban legends, such as, oh yes, that lake is full of zombie children, for example, or another urban legend being about getting poison or razor blades in Halloween candy. There's a really interesting story involving a teacher in this film, who himself gets a sort of comeuppance as well. There are some monsters that make their way into the movie, and that's also done quite cleverly. We're introduced to them fairly close to the beginning of the film in a form that we wouldn't necessarily see coming. It's that sort of reversal of the cat and mouse sort of monster in the woods sort of scenario, which is very pleasing indeed. And that's how the film delivers surprises. It doesn't deliver it with big loud noises or jump scares or shocks in that way. It delivers it through subversion of story tropes, and therefore it's a very, as I say, a very clever movie. It's also quite understated. It doesn't go out of its way to sort of, say, line up chapters like a Tarantino movie, or to really highlight its cleverness. It just presents the events of the evening as Sam's adventure one Halloween night. So, in case it wasn't already abundantly clear, I love this movie, and I strongly recommend that you consider giving it a watch if you haven't already, particularly if you enjoy this time of year. Autumn approaching, the transition through October, the build up to Halloween, the increasing crispness of the air, the turn of the seasons, the falling of the leaves. There's going to be something, I think, in this film for you. Indeed, I love this film so much that last year in the build-up to Halloween, I think on the 26th of October, I seem to recall, I finally got my hands on this book, Trick or Treat, Sam's 10th Anniversary Collection. It's a graphic novelization of the film, released 10 years after the film came out, so it must have been published in 2017, I guess, which records those four stories in the anthology, but also adds to the mythos with original stories as well, from the director Michael Dougherty and some other artists. It's a great book if you like the film, and frankly, I just enjoy it also again because of the atmosphere. This guy, Michael Dougherty, really understands what makes Halloween so exciting for so many people, and yeah, this is a wonderful companion to the movie, so I recommend that as well. And there we have it, Trick or Treat, Sam, and my favourite time of year. What more could you want? Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, do take care. Bye bye.